Hi, good evening, and welcome to the orientation for Hollister Dual Language Academy's kindergarten, TK and kindergarten applications. Welcome. We're really glad you're here. It's always exciting to be planning for your children to start a new time in their lives, and we can't think of a better place we would want you to be than here with us at HDLA. I'm going to give you some background information and a little bit of an outline of what you could expect, and then really how the application works. And there'll be some more information about how to learn more about HDLA. My name is Monique Reese. I am the principal here. I've been here. This is my 9th year. If your child comes next year, it will be my 10th year as principal here. This school is 14 years old now. And you see on this graphic that HDLA is a place the children, our students, created this mural along with one of our art teachers, and it couldn't be more apropos when they decided they wanted to say "Mi corazón late en dos idiomas," which means my heart beats in 2 languages. And you'll see that the things that they decided to draw, we have a jaguar, which is our mascot, the artwork and the colorful culture, science. You can see the fields in the background, the sugar skull for Dia de los Muertos. And this is a very beautiful mural that we have next to our main building. And we think it says a lot about why we're here and what we love about our school. I'm on the left, Monique Reese, principal, as I said, and this is Sylvia Solis on the right. She's our assistant principal, and she's been here 5 years. One thing you should know about both of us, her oldest daughter is here at the school, and her nieces are as well. And when I was a young mom, my son went to a dual language school too, and I always like to share that because it's a big part of why I do what I do and why I believe so much in this program. I'll show you a few slides of daily life here in school. Here's the playground where we have our kiddos climbing and running around on we call it the big toy. There's also a big field and other places to play jump rope or to run around, there are different games and such outside. And so we see that they're having a good time. This is taken a couple weeks ago, just to give you an example. You see in the foreground, there's a tetherball going around. That's one of our favorite activities that the kids love. This is a group of TK students. The TK students are those who become 5 between September 2nd and January 31st. Normally, kindergartners don't have, we don't have kindergarteners start usually until, they have to have their birthday before that. So between January 1st and September 1st is the regular window for kindergarten. Here you see one of the teachers. You can tell it's recent as well with the masks on. And every class for TK has an aide as well, because we know the little guys need a lot more direction. And their needs are met. They get taken to lunch. They get taken to, walked to their area where they eat. I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. They have bathroom visits. They are taken from one part of the campus and always taken carefully because they're so little and they need a lot of support. This is where they have their snack or lunch, separate from the big area. I didn't include in this slide, these slides where the older students eat, but I just wanted you to see that for TK, kindergartners eat in the larger area. Many of the students we have in our school have been in TK as well here. And you just see that they're all having a good time. There are umbrellas for when it's hot, and you can see they all have jackets on, so it's been a little bit cool. You can see the trees have no leaves right now, but they're really nice and full when it gets warmed up. This is a really special slide for me, this picture of 2 girls that are former students. And the vision of HDLA has been, and it continues to be, to prepare students to be biliterate and bilingual individuals who are ready for secondary school success in any English or Spanish speaking country. That, we're not perfectly bilingual, none of us. I think it's always a life's work for all of us to grow in our language over the years. Certainly mine is. I speak English was my first language, Portuguese my second. I lived in Brazil for a long time when I was younger. And Spanish is my third language, and I've been speaking it for 30 years, but I'm not perfect. But I enjoy, for instance, watching shows on Netflix in Spanish so that I can learn to have my ear attuned to different accents and learn about different places. That's pretty typical of people here at HDLA. We're all language learners and we all value one another. And wherever we are, we believe that that's okay. We want to keep growing as humans. The girls here in this picture are both wearing, I think it was the new lunar New Year for a few, well, this is a pretty old slide already, maybe 8 years old. The girls are dressed in typical clothing from, I believe, China. And that's something that happens at HDLA, that people, not everyone, but many of the kids dress and get excited about what they see and or what they're learning about, and they want to participate as best they can. So we know that just wearing clothing doesn't make you culturally competent, but it's a beginning for appreciation of the differences, and it's something that we value here. Now, the girls were in a meeting with me at this time I took the picture. We're working with actually the mayor of Hollister, who asked me, would our HDLA students be interested in working on a homeless project? And one of our projects, he had a project, tiny home, a vision for having homes for people who are homeless. And so he brought some interesting questions to the students, and they worked with another school up in Silicon Valley to create projects around what it would be like for Hollister to have a homeless community that wasn't living on the street. And so, because they didn't really have interactions with the homeless folks, but they were talking a lot and surveying a lot of people, and wrote and presented this information in a forum that was attended by many people. Was really great. So those are the kinds of projects that you might have happen. Of course, not in kindergarten and TK, but as we go forward in our middle and upper grades, that we hope to continue once the pandemic is done. Here's a slide of another, just a cultural celebration. Is an altar from Day of the Dead from this last fall. And, the children learn about what their family, who their families members were that went before them, and about a cultural celebration that is unique to central parts of Latin America, and especially in Mexico. And you see that the teachers have brought the flowers that are typical, that there's food there because those are part of the celebration. Of the children up above, you see the drawings that they made with some writing inside. Some of the classes make, certain grade levels make a little retablo, or a little like a box with the things of their loved one. So there's a whole lot of richness in the projects that we do. We try to really authentically make the experiences of a different culture relevant to our students by connecting it with their families. So our school-wide program is all the students here at HDLA. There's no English only component. It's all the children here learn in 2 languages, Spanish and English. And what we call a 2-way immersion program is that they are taught without translation. Immersion means you're put in a place, a classroom or a lesson or a group, and that immersion support comes from the teachers' strategies, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit, but also the fact that there's work done together. So the little girls you see here are making thinking maps, and they're reading a story, and they're working together, and they can help one another, and they're I don't know if this is in English or Spanish. I can't tell from the slide, but what you would see is that students are helping each other and growing in both languages, not translating, sometimes translating, but mostly just trying to make relevant. And the students start the day in a group. It's their homeroom class. And that class starts in one language and they go to their second language in the afternoon. The morning, whichever class you're in, if you're in first grade, if you're in kindergarten, your morning class would be all learning the same thing. Some would be learning it in Spanish, some would be learning it in English. And then the afternoon, those lessons, those skills, that vocabulary would be reinforced with other lessons or further development that would help give access to each child in their first language of any content. So if they didn't quite get it in the morning, chances are they're going to click in the afternoon. It's really a neat process, and it's unlike anything else that I've ever seen in education. Like I said, we have TK through 8th grade. We have 2 TK classes. We have 4 classes across for kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And this year we have 2 8th grade classes. Next year we'll have 4 8th grade classes, and we'll be fully grown out, and we'll have our full number of students that we will have for the rest of our HDLA days. The curriculum is rigorous. It's everything the same as the regular district, but it's in 2 languages. So rigorous means that, you're not getting a watered down, easier version because English or Spanish is not your first language. You're getting the curriculum that every other child in the state of California and sometimes in the country. Some of the curriculum we use is national. Most of it is pretty national. And so every child deserves to be challenged, and we sure do challenge our students, and we do it with amazing teachers. Now, the teachers are mostly bilingual, but they would never speak the language, for the little guys especially, they would never speak the language. They would only speak their target language. So if I am your English teacher, I would only speak to you in English. If I am your Spanish teacher, I will only speak to you in Spanish, because something interesting happens. If I speak one or the other, you're going to wait for me to just translate it for you, and you're not going to try. And that's a very well-known fact. And so we'll teach you more about that should you get to come to our school. But that's one thing that is different about HDLA, is that we have most of our teachers are bilingual, and those who are not are actually very interested in our program, who have their own children here. And I think I spoke to you about having my own son. He's a grown man now. He'll be a father this year. And yet it's probably one of the most amazing things that I ever chose for my child, was to bring him to a dual language school, and where I was teaching, and allowed him to be challenged and have the opportunities that he had in becoming curious and not being afraid of problem solving and not being afraid of difficult things. It's really shown up in his life as a man. He's super successful. He had some learning differences that didn't faze him or change his success by any means. And it's probably the most beautiful thing that I've ever given my son, besides our faith and, of course, love. So I explained this a little bit before. The instruction is in 2 languages in all areas of the curriculum, even PE. Well, we have had a bilingual PE teacher in the lower grades, and we haven't always had that, and we may not always have that, but we even try to have PE in Spanish when possible. And we want to teach them at a level that they're going to be successful when they go to San Benito High School. And I forgot to tell you that the 2 girls in the slide with the Chinese New Year attire, Asian dresses or jacket, the girl in the red is now at Stanford, and the girl in the right is at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and they are just exemplary students. And I can't say that everybody is, but I can tell you that we have students in at Chico, at UCLA, at Monterey Bay. We have students all over the place, and they're some of whom would not be probably college students if they hadn't been at HDLA. I'm proud to say that. I don't know. It's not data, but we gave them an opportunity and challenged them in a way that made them brave and ready to try it, to go to university, and we're proud of that. That's what dual language research would also say, is that more students, especially Spanish speakers, who attend a dual language school go to college than any other type of bilingual program or monolingual program. So we teach reading and writing in both languages from the start. So the TKers are learning their sounds and letters and all that stuff, and numbers, everything in both languages. They're listening and speaking in both languages. We start very young by teaching them appreciation of other cultures and worldviews, and we have an opportunity every year. Well, around the pandemic, we haven't done it, but we're hoping to return to regular times again when we have International Week, and every grade level studies a different country and does a presentation with a song, a dance, or a play that they've written, or something very interesting that we can count on for our students to be able to have learned at least a little bit about another country. We want to get more depth to that, but it's not so easy to do with everything we have to learn. But one of the things and one of the goals we still have is to get more culturally competent. And as one of our students said to us in an exit interview when we were doing the Pathway to Biliteracy Award, which is like the state biliteracy award, seal of biliteracy, that the reason that we study other languages and other people and other cultures is because we want to find out more about ourselves and go out into the world with an open mind. And that made me cry. It made all of us cry that day when she said that. So we really value all the things we do to support cultural learning as well. Parent workshops. In normal days, we have trainings, especially for reading and the little guys, how you can help your child with homework, how you can help them with different projects, and especially with reading, we know that it's hard to learn to read in English. It's hard to learn to read, or if you don't know how to haven't learned in Spanish, we could teach you the syllabus. We can teach you the things that you might not know. And we have some of them posted online, and we will continue to post them online. In fact, it's kind of really been a good way for a challenge for us in this last 2 years of the pandemic. But we also think that when you have a community come together, there's more power and more relationships, obviously. So we can't wait to get back together with our families. Our teachers are trained in the strategies, and not only the strategies, but the philosophy. They have a very strong background. We have a training for all new teachers in the summer, and many years of going to conferences with our more experienced teachers. There are teams that are balanced for hopefully not having one or the other. Just not all newbies and not all seniors. We try to spread the talent and have the people who are who know and have learned over the years the best strategies to support the teams that they're on. We follow the Spanish language arts standards, the California Common Core standards. We also have, there are different ways to learn reading and strategies for second language acquisition and reading and language. They are different. English is complex. We have a very strong intervention program. All the teachers are trained in it from little guys, kinder through 3rd grade. And like I said, it's so important for us to understand the challenges of our students and the language that they speak and what they come with, and build on what they have in order to be successful in their second language. And again, I spoke to the cultural awareness and appreciation earlier. Oh, I forgot to say that the lady, the beautiful lady here in this picture is one of our teachers, 2nd grade teacher. And one of the fundraisers that the families do for a science camp, typically in a regular year, is face painting on Dia de los Muertos. And for $1, everyone can get their face painted. I think she might have had a little extra time with the face painter in this one because it's such a pretty job. But and even children who don't really understand, everybody loves face paint, and everyone really jumps in and participates. There's also another slide that I showed you with all the different activities that they do on the other those kinds of things. So this is about you, 30 hours a year, not a week. I almost said a week. 30 hours a year, we ask that you volunteer. Now you can do it in the classroom like this mom with her son, or you can do it at home on the weekends, or participate in different fundraisers, or do work for the teacher at home. Whatever, however it is, we don't care. We just want to encourage you, and we're not policing you, but we really should, because some people do all the work and a few people don't do anything. And so when we get back on our feet in this pandemic back world that we want to get back to normal, we will probably have some way of having you log in so we know when when how much you're able to participate. One other thing too is that you should know, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, is that your commitment as a parent coming into our school is going to be a little more than going into another school. If you don't know Spanish, you might need a tutor for your child. If you don't know English, you might need a tutor for your child. Those are things that are pretty much like, if they're struggling, those are things we expect you to figure out. Sometimes parents can have a friend that can help, or find creative ways to help one another, or have a homework club with a buddy, and mom and friend or whoever is working together with the children. They can help each other's family. We also ask that you attend parent club meetings. We've had a beautiful, incredible, strong culture of service in our parents. And you also get credit for your 30 hours if you attend a parent club meeting. One thing you should know is that we don't provide transportation. There was a 1 year when we had a lot of people on this campus. We had a bus that helped with the traffic issues we were encountering, but you'll always have to provide your own transportation to and from school. And we always will want you to participate in the family celebrations or in the school-wide celebrations. So we have a back to school night where we typically have, food, and besides seeing the classroom presentations, you have a chance to get to know other parents. And then we have fall festival where we have each grade level comes up with a game, and the parents all support one another in creating the games or these little booths or whatever it is, a haunted house or a play or whatever it is that your group decides to put on. And then we have Day of the Dead, like I said, referred to the face painting, or the parents usually put together a beautiful, we call it the Museo de Dia de los Muertos, so the Day of the Dead Museum, where we put all of the crafts and art that children create, and we put them all in the library, enclosed library, for 1 week, and everyone can visit and see, and we put the lights down and we have little lights going. It's a very beautiful tribute to people that have gone before us, but also just in how the tradition of learning about that at a different age level as time goes on can be very profound. We also have in the spring, we typically have a international week where each grade level learns about a country, and then the children present either a song, a dance, play, or some type of expression of what they've learned about the country. All right, so this is what you've been waiting for all this time I've been talking. Enrollment. How do you get in? Well, first of all, I want to tell you that it's important for you to know what you're coming to. You might have heard about HDLA and you want to get in, but you need to know too that what we do here is not for everyone, but it is for a lot of people. And especially in Hollister, we have a limited number of spots just for the size of our school. We have over 800 students now, and next year we'll have over 850, and that will be our total number of students at our school. So we're one of the biggest schools in our district because parents like you want their children here. and you want the great things that a dual language school can offer. So here's how you can enroll. I would also just don't want you to get your hopes up too high, because our students' siblings get in, and our TK kids. So we have a limited number, depending, every year it's a little different, but there's almost always a lottery and a waiting list. And that waiting list is also composed of 1/3 Spanish, 1/3 English, and 1/3 bilingual students. So depending on the lottery gets pulled according to that. So if you have twins or triplets, we've had both. If one gets in, they all get in. Excuse me. So that balance of the third, 1/3, and third is going to be honored, and we keep up with that. All right, there are two applications. One is for kindergarten. The kindergarten application you will get from your neighborhood school. You will not get it from our school. We are a school of choice. We do not enroll anybody in our home area. The home area of where we are is Rancho Santana School. So if you live near HDLA, you would still have to go to another school to get your kindergarten registration application and turn all this stuff in and get registered at your home school. That's number one. The reason is sometimes you won't get into HDLA and you'll be all set and ready. Your school will know that you're coming and you'll be all set. But the real reason is we can't enroll anyone the way it was set up originally, for whatever reason, is that because we can't really take everybody. We cannot take everyone who applies, because sometimes we have 100 people apply and we only have 30 spots. So you can do the math and you can see that we can't possibly register everyone and promise you a spot. We have to do it in the way we usually do it. So there's an application for kindergarten or TK, and there's an application for HDLA. It's an HDLA application. It's different than the regular district application. So this might not be the color it gets printed on, but this is our paper that we have. It's also, I'll show you, it's coming up in a slide here. That is an paper application. And then this is, actually this paper is something you might pick up at our front desk about different deadlines and my questions you may have a little. If you see this presentation, you should have a good idea of what's supposed to happen, but you may still want to refer to that because it is different than other schools. So 2 applications, one for kindergarten and one for HDLA. You need to do both, but you must do you must do both to get into Hollister School District, but you cannot just do the HDLA application. You need to get the other one going. Now, we know that there are doctor's visits or vaccine appointments or things that, some of the children aren't really ready yet at this time of year, but you go ahead and fill out what you can, and then you can take the documentation you need to your school when you have it later. It's better to have, to know that you're coming than to not know that you are coming to our school or to another school. So your HDLA application can be done online. There will be a link that we will post tonight after this presentation, and or you can drop by the school, and in the front of the school will be a paper like I just showed you. Language testing for the children will happen by phone the week of March 21st through March 25th. It only happens for Spanish-speaking children. If you tell us your child is bilingual or Spanish-speaking, then we will be interviewing them. If you tell us that your child is English only, we will not interview them because we know English only is English only. The tricky part is your evaluation of your child's being bilingual and ours will vary. So we want to get a real good handle on what their language proficiency is and which is dominant for them. So that is an essential part. So don't worry if you're an English speaker and your family doesn't speak Spanish that you don't get a call for an interview because you don't need one. Okay. Now, when we have all of those interviews happening, and we know some children are very shy or your child is not talkative or whatever, don't worry, we know how to work with little ones, and the teachers have a really good way with them on the phone, so don't worry about that. Parents will be notified of the lottery. We will send an email to everyone, and the lottery will be either posted live on the district website and the HDLA website, or we will let you know where you can find it and the time and the link. Okay. All right. So one thing that especially English speaking families may want is more information about what dual language really is. This information tonight is about how to apply and generally like how to get into HDLA, but it's not why you want to, what a HDLA really does on a day-to-day basis. And there's a lot more detail in my presentation that I recorded last year called Parent University Dual Language Immersion 101. And it's on the district, it's on YouTube, HSD Communications, but you can also, we're also going to put a link on it on our homepage for you to be able to watch it. I'm sorry, it's only in English at this point, but we really encourage parents to see this because sometimes we'll meet parents something happens in second grade, something comes up and parents will say, I don't really know. I mean, I didn't really think this was going to be like this. And we can tell that they never really listened either to the orientation that we have. Typically, we also have an orientation at the beginning of the year for kindergarten, so parents have a lot more information as well. But it's really good to educate yourselves on why you choose dual language and some of the research, and there are good reasons for you to want to be here for sure, but you need to know them so that when the bumps in the road happen, then you'll know how that this is normal. This is part of your journey. All right, so the applications for online will be posted. The link is there, hdla.hesd.org/22-23. That'll be posted after this presentation on our homepage for the online application for HDLA only. And you'll remember that your kindergarten applications are going to come from your home, your neighborhood school. So that's where you're going to be getting that. And they typically will have them out front, like we have some of our information out front where people can pick up. They're not out yet. That will happen the February 28th through March 4th, I believe. Yeah. So that's a very important, remember, two applications for the process to well, one application to get into HDLA for sure, but you'll need also the district application. It doesn't matter. What happens is if your name is chosen through the lottery, or you're a sibling, your child is a sibling or something like that, then the ladies or the people at the other office input the information on your application, and then by computer we can pick up that information and they send us the original paperwork that you gave them. So it's all been done for many years now that way, and we still have lots of questions about it, but I think you'll be okay once you get going here. So the other, one more thing is that the paper applications, if you decide not to go online for your application to HDLA, the paper applications will be available at the end of this week, and they are due back to us at HDLA by March 18th. They are due on the survey or on the link, on the online application version by March 18th. That's so we can figure out how many English speakers, how many Spanish speakers, and how many bilingual students we have. Quick interview, by the way. It's only like a 5-minute, 10 minutes at the most. Interview the children by phone to establish Spanish or bilingual dominance. And then after that, we'll be able to take you into the lottery. Okay. So if you have any questions, this is my email, mmreese, 2 M's, because otherwise one of my friends in the district gets my email and I get hers sometimes. mmruiz@hesd.org. This picture is special because these are the first kids that started the whole school program. They are now in college, and some of the people are still here at school. The upper left, these two teachers are still here teaching second grade. The far right on the bottom, that was Delia. She was our first principal, and she's now an administrator in Alisal district in Salinas. Her son also came to school here. Um, the teachers up on the left have their children or their niece in our school. The ones on the right, Deanna Lane and Senora Lane, they were infamous beginners. They're beloved by many of all of us, all the folks in this picture are beloved. They were here from the beginning. And Yolanda, like I like to call her, the madrina, the godmother of our school, is our office manager. She started as office manager and she's hung in here all these years. So this is these little guys grew up and they grew up and they grew up better, I think, because they're here at HDLA. And we would hope the same for you and your family. So if you have any questions, email me, mmreese@hesd.org. You can also just call the office and have them put them through on to a phone call, or if we're busy around here, so we won't maybe always be able to answer the phone, but we'll sure try to help. And the ladies at the office can answer most of your questions as well. Of course, they know everything probably better than I do. So I wish you all the luck. If you're meant to be here, it's going to work out. And if you're not, it's not to be. But we want you to have the best opportunity by following the process for enrolling at HDLA. So many blessings, and I hope to see you and meet you in person one day. Take care. Good night.